welcome to the Your Next Move podcast with me, Kimberly B. Cummings. Today, we are going to talk about productivity. This is something that is crucial for high-achieving professionals. Literally, productivity is important for everyone, but we're going to talk about those professionals who are ready to really hit the ground running and make some strides in whatever their goals are. And I think that getting things done just happens to be one of my specialties. And I have two key processes that I've implemented in my life and career in order to get things done that I want to share with you. One of my mentors, Myleik Teal, creates journals, and she had a process that I've augmented to fit how I do work every single day. I learned very fast and very early that if I don't have a plan of attack for my day, it is extremely hard for me to push and get things done in the way that I would like to. So on one side, I have a Moleskine Notebook that I use for just about everything. I love the dotted version. It's the extra large. And on the 2-page spread, I do two things. So on one side, I always start with the date and I start with an affirmation about what I'd like to achieve in that season. I can use the same affirmation for a month, 2 months, 6 months if I need to. Or it could be something that's just connected to what I'm doing in that day. And then I create my to-do list, but I group things. So depending upon what season, I either group it by priority level or I group it by individual projects. So when it's priority level, I literally write priority 1, 2, 3, and the task that I need to get done. Priority level 1 are the things that I have to knock out that day. No exceptions. They have to get done. They are time sensitive. 2 is, I'm gonna try and get them done. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And 3 is, it's probably gonna be later in the week unless I have a super duper productive day. And then I always have a miscellaneous personal area. So if I need to make a doctor's appointment or call a friend, it's in that area and gives me the breath to make sure I don't forget it. And then the other side is if I have projects. So for instance, when I was launching my Next Move, Best Move Accelerator program, that was project number 1 that day. And I had to make sure for weeks at a time that I was prioritizing what episodes do I need to record? What technology do I need to set up? Who am I partnering with to execute all of those things? And I write down the most minute details. Nothing is too small to write down. A, because I like the art of checking it off and showing that I did it. And B, to keep me on track. Many times when you are working on larger projects or you have lots of things going on, you can forget some of the steps. I make a joke and say that it's like making coffee without the coffee, right? You took the beans out, you grinded up the beans, you have your milk, you frothed the milk, you put sugar, and you have your hot water, but you never ran the hot water over the coffee grounds. You never put it in the Keurig. So when you go to drink that coffee, it don't taste like coffee. It tastes like cream and sugar because you forgot to put the coffee in. And that happens when you're moving really fast and you have a lot of things to do. And writing down in minute details is so key to make sure that you're able to get things moving. Now, the next piece of productivity that I want to talk about is focus time. I've talked about before how as a side hustler and corporate professional, which I did for a very long time, I had a lot going on, but I never wanted to deprioritize my business as I was building it. I refused. It was so important to me. And I found that for me, getting up in the mornings was so key. Now, some of y'all may be like, you ain't getting up at this time, but for me, I got up at 5 a.m. for years, probably consistently since at least 2017, sometimes earlier. I would have accountability meetings with fellow entrepreneurs at 6 a.m. every Monday to make sure I was on task. For me, I thought it was important to put something that I thought was important first before I gave anyone else energy throughout the day. Now, when I transferred into full-time entrepreneurship in May 2021, I really struggled to get things done in the beginning, and I didn't really understand why I was finding it so difficult to be productive. And that's where focus time came in. I went back to what I was doing as a side hustler and decided to work between 5 and 10 a.m. every single day. I take meetings other times of the day, and of course I'm still doing work, but my focus time is the time that my energy is the highest and I'm able to execute at the highest level. I can do a whole day's worth of work generally between 5 and 8 or 5 and 10 if need be. When I was writing Next Move, Best Move, transitioning into a career you'll love, I wrote in the morning. When I'm practicing or writing or anything that takes deep work, I work during my focus time. So to recap, the things that I've talked about are: one, you have to write down everything. Everything, no task is too big or too small to make sure you can stay on track. And number two, figure out what is your focus time. When are you able to be the most productive? When can you knock it out of the park and prioritize working during that time? For me, I am not an evening person. If you ask me to do some work late into the evenings after 7, y'all, I go to bed sometimes at 8:30 if I'm telling the truth, okay? Because I'm up so early. I could be out like a light at 8:30. Don't ask me to do nothing at 8:30. When I worked in corporate America and they're like, oh, okay, we really need this. I'm like, can I get it to you in the morning instead? Because I could get up at 5, literally roll out of bed, hit my laptop, and knock things out the park. You have to think about what works for you and create a schedule that maximizes your own productivity. One of the things that I feel like many professionals are nervous about is creating a day that works for them, because you don't want to push back on the structure that your company has created for you. So of course, you got to do things when you got to do them, but think about how can you put in your own energy levels and what works best for you. So for me, I thought about what days of the week are easier for me to take meetings. What times of the day do I really want to do work? So this isn't just for entrepreneurs. People call this time blocking. So I knew that I wanted to do all of my team meetings on Monday mornings. So that's the time I always did meetings with my teams. On Monday afternoons, that's where I set up my tasks for the entire week. I tried to do most of my meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday so I could follow up on Thursday if needed. And Friday, I generally did not take any meetings so I could focus on fine-tuning things and getting myself ready and finishing deliverables for the next week. And that's what I did. Many times, all you have to do is a little pushback. When someone asks, hey, can you meet on Tuesday at 10 o'clock? Say, do you mind actually meeting on Wednesday afternoon instead? Most of the time, people will do it. And as professionals, that may sound so small, but it's possible. You don't have to wait to be an entrepreneur or a VP or a president or a director or whatever it is to really start to create a schedule that aligns for your productivity. And when you are excellent, exceptions can always be made for excellence. That's one of the things I always say. So if you can't be over here like requesting different times if you didn't do the work that was due last week, right? You have to make sure that you're being excellent, and you can be excellent, even more excellent, by structuring how you work every single day to make sure that you are putting yourself first. So I want you to ask yourself 3 questions before we wrap for today. So 1, when are you most productive? And I'm talking about times a day and different days of the week. When are you most productive? Question number 2, how do you know what to do and when to do it? So what is the cadence of your week? What does that look like? So you can prepare yourself. So for example, if I knew that I had my one-on-ones with my team on Monday mornings, that means I need to set time to prep on Friday afternoon to make sure that I'm set up. How do you know those things? And last but not least, what motivates you to execute at the highest level? Ask yourself those 3 questions and let me know how it's increased your productivity. That is it for today. And as always, I will leave you with the Manifest Yourself Manifesto. You must believe in yourself and your vision. When you do this, you will manifest the life you desire. See you next time, y'all.
I don't think there's a need for me to necessarily send someone to campus anymore, right? Like, traveling for work may never look the same for the world of recruiting. Also, I think it's kind of given us an opportunity to step back and say, yes, we meet amazing candidates. We can meet tons of candidates using video conferencing technology, but how do we really understand who these people are? How do we properly assess folks in this virtual space?